the American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back. Bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
2016, year of the snake. It's time for a change in the White House, y'all. Liberty. Bring it.
Welcome to the show, Anna Marie.
If you want the real deal, then you gotta get a real leader. Want a real leader.
Welcome to the show.
Build a wall, build a wall, then terrorists.
Welcome to the show, Chris. How's it going? I got you guys. 4 pages of news. How's it going, Aileen?
If you wanna feel safe in your own backyard, one choice. You gotta play your trump card. I say Trump, you say hell high.
Little Trumpy joining in.
I say Trump, you say hell high.
That hasn't happened.
America great again.
Bye.
America, make America great again. Make America great again.
Bye. Be you, Chris. Be you. Be Trump Talk US. Fred will come in and he'll be overpasses. That way I know who you are. How's it going, Karen? And I got some hard news today. They're not gonna like me today, you guys. They are not gonna like me today. I guarantee you that. I guarantee. How's it going, Pamela? We're just gonna do a few little shares. Just a few little shares. We're gonna hit the news hard. We got some great hard news today, you guys. Yeah, I know that. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, my dear. I know, Brittany, it'll make you crazy. It will make you crazy arguing with liberals. I guarantee you that. We're sharing, of course, in Forging Freedom.
Are you a real patriot of the USA?
How's it going, Lori?
Do you like having the right to bear arms?
Sharing, of course, with Overpasses for America. We're doing some great events, June 14th through 17th. Join in, find an overpass, find a corner, find a flag, make it happen. How's it going, Anja? How's it going, Lori? Good to see you. Good to see you. And we'll, of course, share it to our good friends over here at Patriots for America USA. Love those guys. Love those guys. Hey, man, how's it going? Awesome. Now, if you're lucky, 12 minutes in, how's it going, Troy? If you're lucky, 12 minutes in, they won't figure out a way to shut me down. Let's knock on wood. Awesome. Thank you, Laser Snake. Thank you, Laser Snake. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What do I do with the tape? We have lots of news. Yeah, Hollywood, the West Hollywood gave, oh my God, Stormy Daniels the key to the city. I'm not surprised because Hollywood is a whore town. So, I'm not surprised by that at all. It's the kind of thing you'd expect from such an environment. It's the kind of thing you'd unfortunately expect. Hate to say it. But it is, but it is, but it is. Alright. We're going to share, of course, the Virginia Woman for Trump real quick. My good friend Alice Butler Short does so much great work over there. And we'll share that. Then we will share we will share. Let's do a little bit of this here. We'll share it on my page. That way the trolls know where to find me. As always, we try to make sure the trolls know how to find me. Because I've been reminded, it's a good reminder. Sometimes a few trolls showing up actually do boost your numbers a little bit. Boost your numbers. So, folks, you are tuned in to Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk, the one and only all live podcast right here, 20 minutes away from our nation's beautiful Capitol building, 24 minutes away from our president's White House. Now, I want to do something different today because I want to thank my friend Chad Rocky for sending me this video.
Introducing today a 12-page House resolution detailing misconduct at the highest levels of the Department of Justice.
The House resolution for the second special counsel. So we're going to listen a little bit because it's some amazing things here.
And how and why the Trump-Russia probe began. This resolution also calls for the appointment of a second special counsel to investigate the gross misconduct, with the understanding that the Justice Department cannot be expected to investigate itself.
Correct.
It's very important to note that the ranks of the DOJ and FBI are filled with amazing, patriotic Americans who love their job.
This is Lee Zeldin from New York.
And perform their jobs objectively with much respect for the rule of law. These are historic, legendary agencies that require transparency and accountability regarding the misconduct that took place. It is important for these exceptional public servants and these important agencies to continue their work moving forward stronger than ever before. As the resolution states, the concerns of the American people are serious, and the issues requiring an immediate, unbiased, independent, and thorough investigation are broad. In just the past few days, we learned that the DOJ, FBI, or both, appear to have planted at least one person into Donald Trump's presidential campaign to infiltrate and surveil the campaign.
Yep.
This action alone reminds us of just how necessary this resolution is, as well as the appointment of a second special counsel. First, we will discuss some of the misconduct related to how and why the Hillary Clinton email probe ended.
Dodd Frank then we will get to details related to the House going to president.
And finally, we will discuss the misconduct with regards to how and why the Donald Trump Russia probe began. With regards to Secretary Clinton, federal law and State Department rules, regulations, and protocol were violated with her use of a private email server in her Chappaqua, New York home.
Oh yeah, we're going all the way back to that, you guys.
Were
all the way back
on
to that.
An unsecured server and included emails that contained classified information when they were sent. In addition to other emails which were retroactively deemed classified by the Department of State.
Yeah.
Former FBI Director James Comey has acknowledged that 65 of these illicit emails were classified as secret, and 22 were classified as top secret.
Yep.
There is significant evidence that the use of this private server by Secretary Clinton was meant to avoid compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, 5 U.S.C. 552, and done to obstruct justice by not having to turn over incriminating emails in the case of a subpoena. Various sensitive emails subject to grand jury and congressional subpoenas were destroyed on Secretary Clinton's private server through the use of BleachBit software and the destruction of hardware before they could be obtained by investigators in March 2015. In a September 2015 meeting between then Attorney General Loretta Lynch and then Director Comey, the Attorney General instructed Director Comey to refer to the Clinton email investigation as a matter, thus watering down the severity of the investigation and aligning the Justice Department's rhetoric with the messaging of the Clinton campaign.
Yep.
Cheryl Mills, who served as counselor and chief of staff to Hillary Clinton during her tenure as Secretary of State, was offered immunity from prosecution in exchange for access to her laptop that contained many of the questionable emails. According to transcripts obtained by the Senate Judiciary Committee, former Director Comey was prepared to exonerate Hillary Clinton as early as April or May of 2016 when he began to draft a statement announcing the end of his investigation before up to 17 key witnesses, including Secretary Clinton herself and several of her closest aides, were even interviewed. Comey contradicted these transcripts when he stated during sworn testimony before the House Judiciary Committee on September 28, 2016, that he made the decision not to recommend criminal charges for Secretary Clinton after she was interviewed by the FBI on July 2, 2016.
Right?
Director Comey, in the final draft of his statement, allowed FBI agent Peter Strzok to replace grossly negligent, which is legally punishable under federal law, with extremely careless, which is not legally punishable under federal law. Federal law states gross negligence in handling the nation's intelligence can be punished criminally with prison time or fines. There's also the June 27, 2016 infamous meeting between A.G. Lynch and former President Bill Clinton aboard her plane on the tarmac in Phoenix, Arizona.
We're bringing that back.
Thereafter, Hillary Clinton was exonerated.
Yep, bringing that back up.
2016, Director Comey violated DOJ rules and unilaterally exonerated then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in a public statement to the media.
Yeah.
One day later, on July
Bringing that
6th
back
of
up.
2016, an announcement followed from A.G. Lynch that the DOJ investigation into then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton would be formally closed with no charges.
Right?
In September 2016,
What was that? That was ridiculous.
the FBI, during examination
It's all
of the
coming
personal
back.
laptop of former Congressman Anthony Weiner as part of an unrelated investigation into him
the
sending
laptop.
sexually explicit messages to a teenage girl,
Weiner's
discovered
laptop.
previously unexamined Department of State classified emails belonging to his spouse, top Clinton aide Huma Abedin. It took until October 28th of 2016 for Director Comey to announce via a letter to the chairs of the relevant congressional committees that he was reopening the investigation into
Yep,
Hillary
I
Clinton.
know, right?
An additional egregious delay
Let's go,
after the FBI
Denise.
failed to even examine the illicit emails after
Well,
the
listen
FBI
to House Representatives.
discovered them on Anthony Weiner's computer.
Talk about the second special
FBI
counsel.
Deputy Director Andrew McCabe's wife, Dr. Jill McCabe, was running for Virginia State Senate at the time, and as of October 26th,
Terry
received
McAuliffe.
$675,000 in
Virginia.
donations from the Virginia Democratic Party and
Bringing
Common Good
that
VA, the
back
leadership
up.
PAC controlled by Democratic Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, a longtime Clinton associate. An investigation conducted by the Office of the DOJ Inspector General noted that on October 27th of 2016, Director Comey required that Deputy Director McCabe remove himself from a
Stay on
conference
topic,
call
Brad.
regarding the Clinton emails discovered on Anthony Weiner's laptop to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest after media reports surfaced noting those questionable political donations.
Questionable
Further investigation into whether then FBI Deputy Director McCabe and other FBI officials sought to purposely delay the release of these illicit emails for
purposely
politically
delay.
motivated purposes is warranted.
Purposely delay.
Throughout the Obama administration, the DOJ failed to fully investigate serious concerns surrounding former President Clinton, then Secretary of State Clinton, and the Clinton Foundation's connection to the Russian company Uranium One, which received Department of State
Uranium
approval to
One.
purchase U.S. uranium mines in 2010.
Bringing that
Throughout
up.
Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State, a family foundation controlled by the chairman of Uranium One made $2,350,000 in contributions to the Clinton Foundation, which were not publicly disclosed, in violation of an agreement Secretary Clinton had with the Obama
violation.
White House to publicly identify all donors. In 2010, while Russian state interests were working to both acquire a majority stake in Uranium One and to purchase American mines, Bill Clinton was paid $500,000
May 22nd.
for a speech in Moscow by a Kremlin-linked Russian investment bank that was underwriting Uranium One stock. A confidential informant
I know, Pamela, right?
who
This is what I
worked
wanted
with
to listen
the FBI to uncover bribery and other corruption related to the Uranium One matter was threatened with reprisal by the Justice Department
Threatened
under
with
A.G. Lynch
reprisal.
when he tried to come forward in
Oh,
2016.
we're going to talk about that too.
The Senate Judiciary Committee launched a probe in October 2017 to investigate the Uranium One matter, including whether federal departments and agencies such as Department of State knew the FBI was looking into possible corruption
Right.
before the deal was approved.
Right.
An investigation conducted by the Office of the Inspector General noted that a multi-state investigation
right.
into the
It is
questionable
hammer time.
dealings of the Clinton Foundation
Yeah, they're
with
covering it
corrupt
all.
donors
That's
was
what we
shut
had to
down
listen
in
to,
August
Pam.
of 2016.
Yeah.
When pressure was asserted on the FBI by senior officials within the Obama Justice Department.
Oh, the
same
Obama
IG's
Justice
report also
Department.
noted that shutting down this investigation into Clinton Foundation impropriety and influence peddling was connected to high-ranking officials in the DOJ and FBI, including
We're at the
A.G.
next
Lynch,
step,
Director
Brittany.
Comey, and Deputy Director McCabe. The same IG's report also found that Deputy Director McCabe, after consenting to the political pressure to shut down the Clinton Foundation multi-state investigation, attempted to later use unauthorized leaks to the press to create a false narrative that he was opposed to the closure of the investigation, that he did this in an attempt to salvage his reputation following revelations of questionable Clinton-connected money being donated to his wife's Virginia State Senate campaign.
Yeah.
With regards to FISA abuse, in October 2016,
Oh,
the
FISA
FBI and
abuse.
DOJ
We're gonna talk about
used
that.
politically biased, unverified sources to obtain warrants issued by the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court of Review, the FISA court,
Yep.
that aided in the surveillance of U.S. citizens, including Carter Page.
Yep.
The warrants grant U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies sweeping power to collect bulk information and conduct about collection, which results in surveillance
Always gets better.
of a broad array of
It
private
keeps
communications
going.
from the past, present, and future, including those of U.S. citizens not specifically targeted in the FISA authorized warrant. To obtain these warrants, FBI and DOJ officials submitted an unverified dossier prepared by Christopher Steele to the FISA court, failing to disclose that Christopher Steele was hired by the firm Fusion GPS, which was hired by the Democratic National Committee and Hillary Clinton campaign to prepare this dossier, and that the source was unreliable and soon thereafter was going to be terminated as a source.
Exactly,
the FISA court was not informed that Christopher Steele was actively opposed to the election of Donald Trump, that he was the unnamed source cited in the media reports that the FBI used to corroborate his dossier, and that Fusion GPS had been hired to perform previous anti-Trump research efforts in 2016.
This is Congressman Lee Zeldin
the Woods procedures,
of New York,
which are the FBI's
announced on May 22nd here in Washington at the National Press Club.
Instituted to ensure that all the facts contained in an application are accurate and verified to clearly support probable cause for a warrant were not followed. Former Director Comey admitted in sworn testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee on June 8th of 2017 that material contained in the Steele dossier was known to be both salacious and unverified.
Yep.
Since FISA warrant applications are rarely turned down,
are
almost never subject to appeal, are presented in closed court with no public record, where the government is not challenged by any defense, it is imperative that the government take extra care to validate the information being utilized to build their case before they take the extraordinary step of waiving rights of a U.S. citizen without his or her knowledge or the opportunity to present a defense. At the FISA court, the government has a responsibility not only to provide the best evidence in support of its case, but also the best evidence against its case. These deeply flawed and questionable FISA warrant applications utilizing illicit sources and politically biased intelligence were approved by the DOJ and FBI officials at the highest levels before being submitted to the FISA court.
Yep.
It was further not disclosed to the FISA court that the wife of fourth-ranking DOJ official Bruce Orr worked for Fusion GPS, and that Christopher Steele directly transmitted the dossier and other information through Bruce Orr for submission to the FISA court. With regards to the Trump-Russia probe, to this day, there has not been any evidence that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians to win the 2016 election.
No evidence.
In fact, there isn't evidence that President Trump committed any crime to win the 2016 election. The initial FBI probe into the Trump campaign and alleged collusion with Russia was launched in July 2016 based on questionable and insufficient intelligence and biased motivations.
Yep.
As we've learned in recent days, the DOJ, FBI, or both appear to have planted at least one person into Donald Trump's presidential campaign to infiltrate and surveil the
infiltrators.
Text messages exchanged between FBI agent Strzok and FBI counsel Lisa Page during the period of August 16, 2015 to May 7th.
So I just created this dope website with Wix. Let me show you.
Okay, so they're going to do a little ad for a minute, and then it'll come back for a second. We're going to just say, so we are listening to Congressman Lee Zeldin from New York speaking yesterday about the calls by the House Republicans, members of the House Freedom Caucus, and several Republican individuals calling for a second special counsel. But as Mary says, it might not even be necessary to have a special counsel because all of this evidence is, by the time we're listening to it, all of this evidence is so ready to already go to trial. So here, let's listen to the rest of it.
During the period of August 16, 2015 to May 17, 2017 contains serious evidence of political bias and the improper handling of investigations within the agency. The texts contain egregious evidence of bias, including Lisa Page stating, quote, Trump should go F himself, and Peter Strzok stating, quote, F Trump. Those text messages were not stored within the FBI archive system.
Not stored.
An egregious oversight blamed on a technical glitch. And even after these messages were partially recovered by the Bureau's IG in January of 2018, many unanswered questions remain regarding impropriety and bias. Former Director Comey prepared a series of 7 memorandum containing classified information, including notes on his conversations with President Trump.
Eventually they will have to,
sworn testimony to the Senate Committee on Intelligence on June 8, 2017, that he had leaked this content to a personal friend and encouraged that friend to share the material with the press in order to trigger a special counsel investigation.
Leaked information.
An investigation conducted by the Senate Judiciary Committee later revealed that the personal friend of Director Comey was Professor Daniel Richman of Columbia Law School, and that Director Comey provided him with 4 of the 7 memorandum. Director Comey's actions are a clear violation of non-disclosure agreements he signed as a condition of his appointment, and a clear violation of FBI protocols regarding the dissemination of sensitive information outside of the Bureau, which are based on provisions of the Privacy Act of 1974.
That's correct.
In March 2018, former FBI Director McCabe was fired by Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who noted that Deputy Director McCabe lacked candor, including under oath on multiple occasions, and had partaken in unauthorized disclosure to the news media.
What?
Among other violations noted in a report issued by the Office of the IG after a wide-reaching investigation into Deputy Director McCabe's conduct. A myriad of DOJ and FBI personnel have been fired or demoted or have resigned, including FBI Director Comey, Deputy Director McCabe, Chief of Staff.
What are we doing here? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? All right, we're gonna finish this. I paused.
Staff to the Director
You
James
see?
Vicky,
You
FBI
see?
General Counsel James Baker,
I know,
FBI
Fred,
Agent
I know,
Strzok,
I know.
FBI Counsel Page, FBI Special Agent Josh Campbell, DOJ Senior Official Orr, FBI Assistant Director Michael Cortan, and Assistant Attorney General Peter Kadzik. The DOJ has failed to timely comply with several related document requests by Congress, providing members of Congress with heavily redacted versions of some but not all of the documents demanded, and offering members limited in-person viewing of these documents is an inadequate response to repeated requests after months of delay by the DOJ.
Yep.
As I prepare to introduce my colleagues for their remarks, in conclusion, I would just like to point out that while many in the media and American public have been trying to bring down the president without evidence that President Trump colluded with Russia to win the election, there is a ton of actual evidence of real misconduct that those same people have been attempting to completely sweep under the rug.
Yep.
I believe in equal scales of justice, that no one is above the law. That includes anyone regardless of last name, and that even includes people at the highest levels of the DOJ and FBI, especially when misconduct is committed in the performance of their duties while trying to take down elected officials and candidates.
Right.
No official at the Justice Department can ever allow their own political bias to overwhelm their own objectivity and responsible performance of their duties. A second special counsel must be appointed, and transparency and accountability is demanded for these great, legendary, historic agencies. With that, we are confident that these great agencies will be able to move forward stronger than they ever were before.
And there you go, folks. I wanted to listen to the entire thing. I wanted to make sure you saw how Facebook froze me up. Froze me up there for a second. They don't want me telling you what's going on. They don't want me to explain to you that Congressman Lee Zeldin, Congressman Mark Meadows, Congressman Jim Jordan, Congressman Ron DeSantis, and Matt Gaetz, I think is how you pronounce his name, out of Florida, among several other congressmen, are calling it out publicly, and let the games begin. I wanted to play you that because it is such a comprehensive list of the lies, of the scandal, of the misinformation, of the criminal activities that we've seen in the FBI and the DOJ. All of the players were called out and named. They left no stone unturned. This what has been happening. Now, as we've talked about on this show, and I've said many times, it is very likely that what was required in order, all Republicans, what was required to get to this point was having all of the pieces in play. And I personally believe that getting Gina Haspel appointed and approved as the head of the CIA is a critical function of that. As you notice, all these things start to fall in line once we got that appointment. So we're going to see this going forward. I also find it very interesting, as we talked about yesterday, the Democrats, it's on my page, actually, on my personal page, Victoria. The Democrats have started this whole campaign to end corruption. They're going to follow corruption. But in fact, what they're going to find out It's all on them. It's all on them. Laura, you might be surprised. I think we all might be surprised at who, if anyone, gets locked up. I think we might be surprised on that. Because there are so many players. There are so many different individuals who have committed so many different acts. Now, will we put Obama in jail? Probably not. But we've begun the process in a real way. All of the things that we have been talking about, all of the things that we have been saying about the investigation, about the FISA court, about Peter Strzok, about Terry McAuliffe, about President Clinton and the tarmac meeting. All of these things we've been talking about. We've been screaming at the top of our lungs. Somebody look into something. Somebody do something. It needed all of the pieces in place. And now we have that. And Pamela, that is very important what you're saying. Yes. What that, and it may very well be, Denise, because some of these crimes are very serious. And Pamela, yes, even though individuals that we do not manage to lock up and charge with crimes, it is very likely they will lose any ability to have power at all. And, you know, I think we're going to see a few individuals just oddly die of their random diseases. So, yep, making a lot of room for the swamp. This government has been beholden and taken hostage by these swamp rats for a very long period of time. And now we have started to see what really has been going on. We've been talking about it, but now we've started to see lawmakers standing up. Jeff Sessions has been sitting there. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've all been talking about. Is Jeff Sessions has been just sitting up there waiting until it's his turn, okay? Until it's his turn to open the floodgates up at the DOJ. And I predict, you hear it first here on Trump Talk US. I predict that Jeff Sessions will play a huge role going forward in holding these individuals accountable. And yes, Pam says anyone that committed a crime of this magnitude, it's treasonous and should be held accountable. And we are finally, it's happening. It's happening. Yep. Happening. So, just wanted to play that whole thing. I know it took a little bit of time, but I wanted to make sure that we heard exactly what they were going to happen. Exactly what they thought was going to happen, Brittany. They thought they were going to hand the keys of the kingdom over to Hillary, and all of this would be covered up, and none of this would nobody would find out any of it. And that didn't happen. And so they doubled down on their crimes. They added more crimes and more crimes and more crimes. Yes, I agree, Chris. It is unlikely that Obama would be charged because that would create a huge chaos, and you do not want to undermine the now growingly pro-Trump black vote. But will his legacy be destroyed? Will his credibility be destroyed? Yeah, Cynthia, when you get a chance, listen to the front. When you get to the front. When you get a chance, listen to the front of the thing. We were just listening to the House Congressional Republicans calling for a second special counsel and a very, very detailed laying out, thank you, Debbie, very detailed laying out of all of the crimes that we've seen under the Obama administration, under Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, during the Hillary Clinton campaign, and all the attacks, spying, and misconduct against President Trump. Brad, you got to stay on topic. You got to stay on topic, Brad. Seriously. Yeah. All right. So, going forward, I know I've been saying this all along about Sessions. I could be wrong, but I think I'm going to be right. And we're certainly going to find out. But I wanted to make sure that you guys had heard all of those things. Now, let's talk about a few more really great things happening. This is good news, okay? This is great news. Yeah, I know, Mary. You got to make room for all these thugs, okay? Maybe they'll put the lovers, Peter and Lisa, in adjoining cells. You're welcome, Nancy. You're welcome, Debbie. You're welcome. Glad to do my part. Now, Dodd Frank reform has passed the House and has been sent to the White House. Brad, come on. Seriously. Has been sent to the White House for signature. We are starting to fix the reforms. We all know that Dodd Frank made a huge mess of the banking industry, put huge shackles on the ability of banks to function and operate, to loan money, and put a huge amount of restraint. So we are working at pulling those reforms back. The bill has been signed, passed in the House, 258 by 159, going to the president's desk. More winning. President has signed the right to try law. The right to try law. It is a law that allows individuals who are suffering from chronic and potentially fatal diseases with no particularly known cure to have the right to try experimental medication in order to potentially cure their disease. We had limited significantly people's ability to get engaged in drug trials and to be able to try these drugs, even though it was at risk to them, because of course we had grave the overseeing, oppressive, regulating government wants to make sure that no individuals can get harmed. However, if you're already going to die, if you have a fatal disease that is going to cause your death, why are we worried about you might be harmed by the drug? President Trump signed into law the right to try law. So now these individuals will have the opportunity to make the decision for themselves. And what I love about this is that it's not just breaking up the cabal of the FDA and the drug enforcement and the big pharma and all of this. It's actually putting power back into the hands of the individual. The individual, I know how bad could it be exactly, Mary. The individual has the right to make your own decisions, to take your own risks. That's right. Even if they can't be cured, great stuff. Absolutely awesome. President Trump signed into law the First Step Act, which is a prison reform act allowing people to have more access to jobs and other problems. When you get out of prison, many people, they serve their time, they get out of prison, it becomes very, very difficult to actually be able to get a job. First Step Act, signed into law, making real prison reform changes so that these individuals will be able to reintegrate into society. Good stuff. The president's been very, very busy. Signed into law something called the Secret Act, the Security Expediting Clearance Through Report Transparency. We are working on making sure that security clearance is more transparent, that individuals are being, if you have security clearance, you are being properly vetted, you are being properly transparent about having that security clearance, and that the information is properly followed up on without slowing it down. I love that it's called Secret. Security Expediting Clearance Through Report Transparency. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Brittany. Exactly. Hard for ex-cons, easy for illegals who could have done even more. Exactly. And do. And exactly, Pam, he's finally helping individuals. This is going to be huge in the black community because, as we know, this is a big issue that is handled in the black community again and again and again. Because there is such, now for whatever reason, we're not going to discuss the demographic or political reasons as to why so many black individuals end up in prison. But those individuals who have served their time for whatever amount of crime they have done find it harder and harder to be able to get work. Recidivism rates are through the roof. Recidivism being when you go to prison, you get out, you come back. You get out, you come back. Get out and come back. We don't want that. We don't want a revolving prison door that everybody keeps coming back. If you have committed a minor crime and you've served your time, we want you to be able to go out and get a job. Yep, thanks, Chris. Go out and get a job. Be able to move your life forward in a productive way. So that's fantastic. Absolutely tons and tons of winning. If you saw President Trump at the Susan B. Anthony event, at the Susan B. Anthony Foundation, speaking on pro-life issues, a great speech honoring Susan B. Anthony, and also speaking directly to individuals about the pro-life issue and how President Trump supports life. Huge. Yes, reform needs to take place in data distribution within the criminal justice system. Yes, these are the kind of reforms we need to start working on, and we need to make it much easier for individuals, and we need to change some of the laws. You know, we have laws in place that force people to continue to report their crimes, and they're almost shackled with that indefinitely. And even worse, there are many licenses. They can't get a beautician's license. They can't get they can't run a bar. Doesn't matter if any of their crimes had anything to do with beautician stuff or bars or alcohol. They're prohibited in many ways. So, yes, Pam, exactly. Never has any other president help prisoners become working members of society. Yes. 47-year-old marijuana charges kept a friend from being able to get, a concealed carry weapons permit. Yes, these are the kind of things we have real problems with. I think we're going to do a lot more, Watson. This is just the first step. We're just starting to make progress. The president has obviously been super busy. Oh my God, if you go to whitehouse.gov, you're like, you signed all these laws, but CNN didn't tell me about any of that. Because they don't like winning. But you know who likes winning and has two thumbs? This girl. Love it. All right. More winning. I'm not done with the winning. We'll have some negative news here in a minute. We'll have some. I'm not gonna just be a positive Polly the whole time. All right. Yep. We'll see you later, Mary. Thank you. Wish Mary some luck on the mowing. Apparently the grass is overgrowing over there, and it's about to take over the dogs. So Mary's got to get the mowing going, and we can't do that in the rain. Paraguay, the nation of Paraguay is moving its embassy to the city of Jerusalem, just like the U.S. Many other nations are starting to follow us, moving their embassies to Jerusalem. We have been the leaders in this, and now the floodgates are starting to flood open. Winning. All right. Now, this I think is winning. In my opinion, this is a winning situation, although some people have some mixed feelings about this. But the NFL has decided to enforce a rule. It has created a new rule. If you are on the field, you must stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you do not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, the team will be fined for individuals not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, they have also made the rule that you do not have to be on the field at the start of the game. You can stay in the locker room. Okay? You can stay in the locker room. So, we are still allowing the pouty patties, okay, to stay in the locker room and choose to not honor the flag. But if you are on the field, you will stand for the pledge. Now, I agree with you, Pamela. The damage has already been done. But I disagree, Lori, that hiding in the locker room is as bad as kneeling. Because I don't think it is as bad as kneeling. Because we had two very different situations. Yes, for the national anthem. Thank you, Kimberly. And a lot of people still are not going to watch. And Roger Goodell has continued to be an ongoing problem. But having players able to visibly and overtly on camera disrespect the United States has been horrible and very, very, very undermining of our country, undermining of respect for our flag, and undermining of individuals. So what we have decided, it's kind of like when you have a little kid, and if you're going to cry, you know, you have little kids and they're crying, and they're not like they're crying like they hurt themselves, but they're having one of those cries like they just want to get their way cry, okay? And you don't want to deal with it, so you say, if you're going to cry, go to your room. That's what we've said to these players. If you're going to cry about the national anthem, you need to go to your room. We are not going to show America, we are not going to demonstrate your disrespect and temper tantrum to America. No more, exactly, Pam, exactly. No more in our face disrespect. And I think that's a win. And I know some people have some mixed feelings on it, but I'm calling win. I'm calling win. And exactly, Mary, hiding in the locker room takes away the media time. So now their whole reason for kneeling was to get media attention for their anti-American sentiment. Now, listen, sure, the media is going to go, oh, so-and-so isn't out on the field, but you could be not on the field for a lot of reasons. You could be not on the field because you had to use the bathroom. You're still getting, work done on a part of your body where you need to, getting taped up or whatever. There's a lot of reasons you could be off the field. It won't be known what your whole protest is. It ruins the protest. It ruins the protest. So, we've effectively ruined the protest. Now, I agree. I actually agree. You know what? Don't make them, if you don't love America, great. I'm not going to make you love America. I'm not going to tape your hand over your heart with sports tape. That's absurd. That's absurd. But if you don't want to stand, you're going to do that hiding in the locker room like a little bee. Yeah. So, I think that's winning. All right. Let's talk about some not winning, you guys. Let's talk about some not winning. There are a few things going on not winning. This page is winning. Oh, there's a little bit of not winning on this page. So, individuals, Chinese, American agents in China have been warned to, what if they all stay in the locker room? That's a good question, Victoria. That's a good question. I think those teams will receive the wrath of the public. I think they will, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna certainly find out. American agents in China have received some warnings about potential sonic attacks. Sonic attacks being investigated in China. This is a similar situation that happened in Cuba a while back. Individuals, American officials, were subject to sonic attacks. It creates nausea. It creates all sorts of physiological problems, dizziness, and this sort of thing. And they can use subsonic sounds to actually instigate medical health problems. So we have American agents in China being warned against this. Now, there's no proof that China was involved in the Cuba situation. There is actually no proof that the government of China is involved with this situation. Frankly, it could be Russia. We don't know. But we are investigating. There are current investigations about sonic attacks in China against Americans who are working there in China. And we're going to find out more as that goes forward. But I did want to give you that little bit of information. This is all good news. Great. These are some weird things. All right. So I'm reading in the BBC, okay? It's actually subsonic so low that you can't hear the sound. You can barely hear the sound, but it does create some odd noises, and you can sort of sense the phenomenon. So they've put out a whole structure of warnings, what to look for and what to be aware of so that you can be protected. Now, so I'm on the BBC, I'm scrolling through the news, and apparently I come across this article, all people, and there's two different ways, Brittany, there's two different ways that can affect people. One of them actually can affect the individual actually issuing. The other one requires a very large set of speaker systems, so that it's pretty involved to do it. It's pretty involved, but also pretty dangerous. So they're sending teams, just like we sent teams down to Cuba, we're sending teams over to China to try to figure out more of what's going on. And who knows? It could be bad actors in the process who don't want us working positively with China and are trying to undermine us. All sorts of things happen. They drug spies, all sorts of things go on. So we have to be good. Not just China, Russia, other countries with bad intent. So we have to keep an eye out. Now, so Facebook, in order to try to end what they have said in Europe, this is a call they made out to Europeans, in order to end quote unquote revenge porn. You got to listen to this because it's so ridiculous. It's not even, I had to share it because it's so absurd. In order to end revenge porn, they are asking European Facebook users to send in naked pictures of themselves so that the pictures of themselves can be blocked in order to prevent future revenge porn. Yeah, I'm going to say that again because it's really confusing and absolutely absurd. Facebook in Europe has suggested to Facebook users that they send to Facebook naked pictures of themselves so that Facebook can block the pictures to prevent future revenge porn. Now, one, okay? Yeah, I know, Ed Marie, I know. One, I know, Brittany, right. One, here's a tip, okay? Don't have sex with people who are the kind of people who are going to engage in secretly filming you in order to have revenge porn. Okay? Yeah. That's on you. Don't do that. Be more cautious. I know, right, Pamela? Be more cautious in who you're having sex with, so that you don't need to worry about revenge porn. Step one. Two, I don't know how sending a naked picture of me, of anybody, is going to prevent them from posting other revenge porn. And, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Brittany. This is what Facebook says. Hey, send me a dick pic. That's exactly what Facebook wants. That's exactly, it's literally an opportunity for Facebook. I mean, I guess they're bored and perverted over there. They don't have anything to do. They've come up with this ridiculous scheme to convince all of Europe to send them naked pictures of themselves. Hey, pro tip, Europe. Don't do it. Do not send Facebook your naked pictures, okay? They are not going to be able to prevent revenge porn on the internet. Okay, because to be fair, let's just be logical here for a second. Okay, if I wanted to engage in revenge porn, right? If I wanted to engage in that, I could post it on Twitter, I could post it on YouTube, I could post it on Vimeo, I could post it on Snapchat, I could post it on Instagram, I could post it in a lot of places. Okay? And all nudity is supposed to be blocked from these sites. No nudity is supposed to be, okay? So if I really wanted to, I could blast it in text, I could send in a bunch of emails. There's a whole bunch of ways. If I really wanted to engage in revenge porn, I could probably sneak out in the middle of the night and put it up on a billboard, okay? So Facebook getting naked pictures, not going to stop the revenge porn. Obviously, just a perverted ploy. Now, in other tragically perverted news, and this is really a sad piece of information, and it's sad what I had to actually find out about this because I was sad to hear it had already gotten so far. The Scouts BSA, they're not the Boy Scouts anymore. Right. They're not the Boy Scouts anymore. They're the Scouts BSA because they gotta let girls in. And I will tell you, the Girl Scouts of America are very upset. And they're cranking up the fight. They're not going quietly into the night. However, this may actually help the Girl Scouts. Maybe, Watson. Maybe. At the next World Jamboree, at the next Jamboree, excuse me, there's a new policy at Scouts BSA that condoms, this is about what I'm to say, it's disturbing, just disturbing warning, trigger warning, everybody, I have to give it to you. Condoms will be required to be readily and freely available to all Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts BSA. They're not Girl Scouts. Female Scouts BSA. At the Jamboree. Now, here's the thing. Here's the bad news. That was already a thing. Okay, the World Jamboree last year that was held in Japan or whatever already required condoms. All right? Be available, readily available at the Jamboree. Now, very disturbing situation, because as we know, there are no drugs or alcohol allowed at the Scouts, at the Jamboree. None of that, okay? However, apparently, they're going to require the condoms be freely and readily available. Now, this is what they claim, now, wait for it, because girls are going to be allowed at the event. As we said, people, as we said from the beginning when the Boy Scouts first started this ridiculous whole thing of we're not Boy Scouts anymore, we're going to let the girls in. What did we say? That we said this was a sexualization of our children, that we are taking away their freedom to have separate gender activities, and we are now sexualizing them. Now, the Scouts BSA claims that there is still separate activities for boys and girls. But if there is still separate activities for boys and girls, why do there need to be freely available condoms? Do these kids even know how to use a condom? Does the Boy Scouts America actually expect to teach young boys to use the condoms? Is there a merit badge we're going to include with this? Condom use? Yeah, Anna Marie, it is going to be in the Scouts, and I believe the Girl Scouts of America are going to hit very hard on this issue, because they're very upset. The Girl Scouts of America are very upset that the Boy Scouts have basically horned in on their market, which is young girls and young girls' outdoor activities. So, we're going to see, yeah, I know, the hibbity badge, exactly. We're going to see what happens going forward, but it is this kind of thing. This is why I report on it, because we need to know what's going on in the Scouts. We need to be informed of this so we can start taking real action, pulling our kids out of these organizations that have been infiltrated by leftist agenda and have turned into hypersexualizations, it's a camp for pedophiles at this point. Carol, the reason they're saying it's been done is because girls are not now being allowed in the group. That's why they're saying. Now, I don't understand, because there are many co-ed children's organizations, young people's organizations, and we used to have this thing called chaperoning the children. It was like watching, is the simple word, watching the children to make sure that no shenanigans are going on. That's what we used to be able to do. That's how we kept them from doing all of the bad things. Smoking, drinking, doing drugs, having sex. None of the things we want your kids doing. All of those things are for either adults or not at all. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yes, Carol. It makes no sense unless you look at the leftist agenda of hypersexualizing our children and wanting to normalize pedosexual behavior and pedosexual affinity. It's the only reason, the only truly logical reason you can at all see. Because here's the thing. Most of these kids are not, the kids aren't going to be using a lot of these condoms. Kids at this age, I'm going to tell you for free. I worked with kids for a very, very, very long time. Yes, of course they did. We watch everybody like hawks. Same thing with church youth group. All of it. You watch the young people like hawks. But let me tell you something. Young people at the ages of 11 to 13, 11 to 15 are not going, okay? They're not going to go to their scoutmaster and ask for condoms so that they can have responsible sex because they're embarrassed, they're insecure, all of these things. So that these condoms are not there to actually protect young people from potentially sexually transmitted diseases or unwanted pregnancies. They're not there for that. They are there to normalize sexuality in our young people by saying to these 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, look, we got condoms. They're readily available. What you're actually saying to those young people is, I'm trying to tell you, Pamela. I'm trying to tell you. What you're actually saying to these young people is sex is okay. Sex is okay even though you're a child. It's not okay. It is not okay to encourage young people to have sex. That is irresponsible. It's dangerous. These young people need to be focused on a lot more things than the already raging hormones. We are adding to that. We are only adding to their problems. So we're not helping them by helping them become sexualized more quickly. In fact, the only people we are helping are pedophiles. The only people we are helping who are people who find children sexually attractive and want compliant, sexualized children in order to engage in their heinous behavior. That is the only thing we're doing. That is the only reason that this could possibly be put in place, and it's absolutely unacceptable. Cynthia, I hope parents don't go for it. I hope that we actually see a number of lawsuits going forward. And I hope we see parents pulling their kids out of the Scouts BSA entirely. Because it's wrong. It's the wrong direction. Look, even if you want to be very permissive, okay, even if you are one of these people who are like, oh, go ahead, have premarital sex. You want children to do that after they have reached an age of majority and can make their own decisions. What you don't want is children being told it is okay to be sexual prior to their own natural instinct. The body, the human body doesn't actually become sexualized at these early ages of 11, 12, 13. If you meet young boys at that age, a lot of young boys at that age, they don't really even like girls that much. They don't know what to do around girls. They're awkward. Yes, Brittany. I read entirely about the dog movie and the show Dogs, and I've followed up on that a little bit and found out more about it. One of the problems with the movie, now, they try to make an innocent movie, but in fact, the movie has this hidden message. And it's not really that hidden. There's a whole message about if the dog is going to be a show dog, somebody is going to have to touch his private area. This is the movie. This is the thing. Yeah, it was. It was a big deal. Exactly. And it still is. In fact, statistics are showing that young people are actually staving off the age of first sexual activity more and more and more. It's getting older and older. Young people are actually not interested in all this sexualization. Gen X was a much sluttier teenage generation than the millennials and the generation after the millennials. So this movie Show Dogs has a whole scene where the dog is uncomfortable with them touching his private parts, and the other dog says, you just have to go to your Zen place and let it happen. This is why people are very upset, because that message just seems very inappropriate to tell young children. Thank you, Lisa. To tell young children. So we see this pedophile agenda again and again, and I'm one of the most, I find it interesting. If you'd have told me in my youth that I was going to be railing against pedophiles as an adult constantly because they had gotten so much power in this culture, I would have probably told you were insane. But that is exactly what is happening in our culture. We are hypersexualizing children. We are hypersexualizing younger and younger children, and the children are actually rebelling from that and rejecting that hypersexualization and trying to stave off sex more and more and more into later years. In fact, this current generation we are in has one of the oldest ages of average virginity of the last 5 generations. So it's not the kids. They want to say, oh, well, we have to protect the kids because kids nowadays, It's not kids nowadays. It's pedophiles nowadays. Pedophiles, pedophiles, pedophiles. So, we still have a lot of work to do, people. But, on the good side, lots of winning. Lots of winning. So, don't go see the movie Show Dog with the kids. Get your kids out of the Boy Scouts. Keep an eye on what's happening with the special counsel. Say your prayers for President Trump, for the administration, for all of the people involved in the investigation, and for this great country. That's what we got to do. And that's our show for today. So, as always, I like to do a little bit right here where we talk about, this is my first book. I don't show you guys this book very often. The Semi-Essential Trump Supporters 2018 Election Survival Guide. Some really funny and fun tips in there about being a Trump supporter and what you need to do to stay safe and be a Trump supporter. I support the video games, Brittany. I support the video games. You know, we worry a little too much about violent video games. We used to actually have violent actual games. Okay, kids used to play games that were actually violent, like with each other, beating each other up, all kinds of rough housing. You know, it's not nearly the mind messer that these pedophiles are. Yes. You can get this. You can get my recent book, MAGA Manual: The Trumpers 2018 Midterm Strategy Guide. Suzzanne Monk. You can go ahead and find that on Amazon. And of course, Rules for Trumpers. I just published an article about this book, about the Saul Alinsky tactics of the left and how President Trump and the Trump movement have out-Alinsky'd the Democrats. So good. So good. And of course, as Denise reminds me, oops, my legal paper has gotten on the floor. You can go to StandWithPOTUS.com, find out more about what I'm doing with Stand With POTUS. This is my super PAC, and we raise funds. We raise funds for all of these great grassroots efforts that are going on around the country to help support the president and to help get people to get pro-Trump candidates elected, to get out the vote, to do the work necessary, the grassroots work that the Republicans will not do. So, let me show you this legal piece of paper that I dropped on the floor. Of course, we have to show you this because, you know, legalities. And, when you go to Stand With POTUS, you're going to find out more about the MAGA Summit. The MAGA Summit around Mowar. If you don't know about Mowar, you need to know about Mowar, okay? Mother of all rallies, September 8th. It's a great event. I spoke at it last year. I'm speaking at it again this year. Huge amount of patriots. We have music, we have events, we have booths. All sorts of groups are going to be there and finding out all sorts of ways that we can connect up. It's literally like a Patriot family reunion. Denise will tell you. Anybody who's been there will tell you. Thank you so much, you guys. Now, MAGA Summit, fantastic stuff. MAGA Summit, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. The 7th is a huge day of speakers and events and panels, full fine dining, workshops, all sorts of things. Tickets are expensive. I'm not going to kid you because we're trying to raise money so we can give it away to these organizations. But if you do your gold level sponsor, you will get spoiled rotten. Special gifts on each of your dinner tables for breakfast, books, bling, everything. And we are working on being able to put many of my individuals who sign up early. This is important. Sign up early into a White House tour. Now we're gonna have to find if you're gonna get on the White House tour, it's got to be by the first 2 weeks of June, because of course it takes time to get that approved, and we got to go and kiss some congressperson booty. You know, that's what we got to do. So, MAGA Summit. You can find this link at magasummit2018.com. Food is included in the package on Fridays, all sorts of meals and snacks. And there is a discounted rate for silver and gold level members. So hotel is not included, but there's a significantly discounted rate at Trump International if you do silver or gold level. So All of the information is there. What you want to do is go to MAGASummit2018.com, click in the photo gallery. Each one of those photos has the itinerary, has all of the registration information, and all sorts of good facts about the event. And we should be able to raise a significant sum of money. Stand with POTUS PAC should be able to raise a significant amount of money through this event to help support our Patriot movement. I'm working very hard, contacting all sorts of individuals, getting people booked. We've already talked to Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer. We've already talked to Michael Flynn Jr. We've already talked to a variety of individuals. Jim Hoft from the Gateway Pundit, Pamela Geller. We're trying to get her. We've talked with Milo. He might not be available to come out, but he might be making us a special video just for the event, just for our guests. As well as talking, we're hunting down. I've got a whole bunch of people. I'm trying to get Dick Morris. I'm trying to get some great folks. The speakers list is going to be fantastic, you guys. By the time I get done with this event, planning and preparing, it is going to be packed of so many amazing, fantastic individuals. It will not even be funny. Yep. It's going to be so good. This weekend I'm speaking. On Friday I will be speaking at the American Patriots Standing with the Iranians rally. We're going to thank President Trump for ending the Iran deal. Saturday is Rolling Thunder. I'm meeting with all my bikers out here. We're going to meet up at Harry's. So if you are here in the D.C. area, come to Harry's and hang out with a bunch of great Patriots and bikers. We're going to have a great time. It's been a busy week, and the week is just beginning. Tonight I'm going to go watch my Capitals try to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. So if you're Tampa Bay folks, sorry, go Caps. And that's our show for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate so much.
The American dream.
Appreciate you guys so much.
But if I get elected president,
We're staying busy.
I will bring it back.
We're going to keep MAGA-ing.
Bigger.
I work to be well connected, Brad. I work. Some of it is also, you just got to have a little bit of balls. Got to be honest. Sometimes it's just balls to call. That's what we call it in the cold company. You just got to have the balls to call. So, that's what you do. Doesn't hurt to ask.
It's time for a change in the White House, y'all.
Love you guys. That's right, Troy. Go Caps. Go Caps. Thank you all for watching the show. We'll be back again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always, with more news, more winning, more facts. It's going to be great stuff. So, on Friday, we'll be actually broadcasting live from the Iranian American Patriots event. So, that's what's up, y'all. That's what's up. I just like to get to this part. If you like to ride in your own backyard, one choice, gotta pay your Trump card. I say Trump, you say hell high. Yep. I don't know how high the winning is gonna go. It's gonna go on forever. Thank you to Laser Snake. Thank you to all you guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, you can see your girl Suzzanne Monk as always. Jumping out.